while at work recently, I was helping an inmate with some of her schoolwork, and she had a few things wrong, and I explained to her why they were wrong and showed her how to do it correctly. So with the 2 years that I've been a correctional officer, I have noticed a lot of things that set the inmates up for failure when we're really supposed to be setting them up for reintegration into our society. Education is being one of them. Today I would like to discuss that not all inmates have had access to education while they were out in the free world. Secondly, not all inmates have access to education while they are incarcerated. And third, the inmates should have to go to school. It should not be seen as a reward. So not all inmates have access to education while they're out in the free world. Some lived in poverty and were unable to get to school. Their parents did not put them in school. They have learning disabilities, and the schools were not set up and equipped to be able to handle teaching them. They didn't learn the basic reading and writing skills. They didn't learn the basic math skills. They learned how to survive in the street. They learned how to get things that they needed or things that they wanted from the streets, not by an education. So that sets them up for failure in life to begin with. And when working in the prison, they tell you that our mission statement is to be able to reintegrate offenders back into society, which means we are supposed to rehabilitate them and teach them so that when they are released from prison, if they are released from prison, that they have the ability to read, to write, to do math, to be able to function as an adult. Now, while they are in prison, even then, not all of our inmates have access to education. And that's a problem. So you have to be approved to be able to get education through the prison system. You have to have a certain custody level. You have to be able to read and write. You have to basically meet certain standards to be able to go to school through prison. Now, we have college programs and we have regular GED programs, and I think that the college programs, that's fine. Yes, keep a certain custody level. Yes, keep a certain status. Don't get in trouble. You know, yes, obviously you have to be able to read and write to hit the college levels. But as far as just a regular education goes, that should be given. You know, education should be a requirement while incarcerated, not a reward. You know, they should be taught how to read and write so that when they are released, they know how to read and write, and they can do so now they can actually progress in society. You know, they should have to earn that education. It should be required for them to go to class, you know, to meet a certain level of education so that they can function even in prison, because you still have to be able to read and write in prison, because you get mail, you have appointments you have to go to, you have all kinds of stuff that you have to do that requires reading and writing. You know, they use education as a reward system. If you don't get any write-ups in prison, if you're a certain custody level only, unless you are under the age of 25. Now, by law, under the age of 25, they have to give you education material. And if you're not a certain custody level, you are unable to go to the schoolhouse. But you're still able to get that education material, but whether or not you can read and write, nobody knows. So I was helping this inmate, and I was teaching her how to understand the questions on her paper, and it made me realize that our education system and our prison system is very, very messed up.